I'm hoping this big old mess is enough. When was the last time I saved? Who cares? If there's any time to save, it's right before I go into a bad place. Wow, these saves still date back to the cabin. So yeah, if I need to, I can still rewind to before I even entered this entire underground area. So it should be doing okay save-wise, but I'm hoping that that's not a problem. Like, the map is filled in. I imagine I go into the boss chamber and something happens, and that's basically the end. Let's be ready with more than 3 shots to start with. It appears to be the control panel for the elevator. Press the switch. Yep. The elevator's working.
Jill.
Barry!
You could have at least waited up for me, you know?
Let's go.
He's walking around as a character. Freaky. They never do that.
Wesker!
Thank you, Barry.
Well, what do you know?
Oh, don't blame Barry for everything. I hear that his better half and 2 lovely daughters will be in danger if he doesn't do everything I tell him to.
Wesker, you're pathetic.
Well, you shouldn't worry too much, dear. You'll be free of all this anyway.
Why eliminate stars?
Believe it or not, that's Umbrella's intention.
You're just a slave of Umbrella.
Smart girl. But I think you misunderstand me. The things you mentioned are nothing. I'll burn all of them along with this entire laboratory. Barry, go up on the ground and wait there.
Barry.
You gotta love Barry. He must really be afraid of Umbrella.
You and Umbrella took his family. You bastard. Oh!
Umbrella? Well, I used some carrots and sticks to cow him, but it had nothing to do with Umbrella. I just used Barry for my personal interests. Though both you and Barry seem to think I was following Umbrella's orders.
What? What are you planning?
I guess it's time for show and tell. It's magnificent.
For the sake of this thing.
You know, I hate goodbyes.
Barry!
Forgive me.
No, you're not to blame. It's Umbrella and Wesker.
Even if it meant my family, I couldn't bear turning my back on my friends again. Shit! Damn it!
Jill and Barry together. In hell.
You want a piece of me?
What? Premature.
No, Barry! You viral cultured freak!
Yep. Yep. Ah, shit. How in trouble am I right now? Very. Oh, good. Oh, good. I'm in deep shit immediately. Alright. Cool. I've been better. Where's this guy? Am I even hitting him? Like, is he taking damage? He's very tall. Yes. Cut its head off, Jill. Oh. I'm not doing amazing, but I don't know if I should heal yet. I was gonna shoot them with the other gun, just to use it up. Whoops. You alright? This is the far corner. A number of capsules, each containing an unspeakably ugly creature. Considering what happened to Rain, I don't really have the best hopes. Penalty, release the emergency electronic lock. Yes. There we go. So apparently Wesker just wanted to have bow pets, basically. Oh. This whole path exists. Oh, I didn't realize that. That would have been useful for going in circles, which is the better way of fighting anything in these games. Instead of going into a dead end and hoping you're gonna run away, which doesn't really work. So, kind of a one-dimensional villain. He just wants... As far as I can tell, what he wants is just to have bows as an army. Or at least he wanted that guy as a slave or something. He's just like power hungry as far as I can tell. He might have some ultimate goal that's more grand than that, but basically he seemed to want Tyrant, and he seemed surprised when Tyrant attacked him. He said, and then he said premature. Like Tyrant must have been imprinting or cooking or something to be ready to be. I assume Wesker's slave. So this all went back. This backfired on him, and not even for him did it go according to plan. A machine used to compile experimental data. And he's not working for Umbrella, although he was. He has worked for Umbrella, but he's not doing this for Umbrella. What a pathetic way to die. He's holding something. Could you check if he's dead? Observation note. The discovery of the G virus was in fact 21 years after the administration of the primogenitor virus. The prototype parasite, which we had delivered from a laboratory in France, was administered to the sample specimen. The sample specimen took in the parasite without showing any signs of adverse reaction. The lack of any reaction was an unsolved mystery. By now, everything is clear to me now. But now, everything is clear to me now. Double use. The prototype paradise was incubating in the sample specimen body for 21 years. Then from that incubating state, the prototype suddenly mutated. Evolved may be a more appropriate word to describe it. This observation gave me more insight in my research. Through further modification and testing, I was able to derive a method to create the G that surpasses the performance of the T. This was the breakthrough that would change the future of Bao's history. I can't wait to see the look on Alexia's knowing face when I finally announce my research. But unfortunately, I'll have to wait a few more years to completely verify my findings. William Birkin. William Birkin. William Birkin. Sherry Birkin, right? That's gotta be, that's Sherry. I think that's supposed to be Sherry Birkin's dad or uncle or father or grandfather. Sherry being, I think, in 2 and 6. 6 is weird. Her use of 6 is weird.
Barry! Barry! You're okay.
Jill, sorry. That was careless of me. Wesker.
He's gone.
First, let's just get out of here.
Don't get back up, don't get back up. I don't have my, no, I don't have my fire on me. I doubt that would work. It'd be really funny though if you could just like stop it now.
System has been activated. All personnel must evacuate immediately. Deactivating and releasing.
Wesker must have set it off. Let's hurry.
I wonder if there was any bad things left around here. Would Barry be helping me out left and right with this stuff? Nope. I'm thinking now is the time to save. Or maybe not. Definitely swap out some items. Let's see. We're done with you. We're all out of ammo for that thing. I've got 15 rounds for this guy, 1 for that. Rat of grenades, a rat of shotgun shells, not a lot of handgun shells. I actually don't have a lot. Whoa, that's all empty? I mean, I just have to wait. I just have to expect, like, rely on my Magnum for saving me here on out, right? Damn. We're down. I'll save upstairs, because I think we're going to pass the other save point on the way out. Let's just have first aid kits. I'm gonna... Wow. I am burning through the remaining backlog. I had all these big piles of things, and they're all kind of going away now. Alright, so I can full heal like 5 times. It says deactivating and releasing all locks. So let's get to Chris. I'll save you, Chris. In this game, Jill saves Barry and Chris. Judging by how I'm the character that has agency and Chris is literally in a jail cell and Barry was just unconscious in the room with a Tyrant. That means that Jill saved everybody. By video game standards, it's pretty good. Hell, by movie standards, it's pretty good. The lock is released.
Jill.
Sorry about the wait.
So everything's taken care of?
Well, almost. Now let's get the hell out of here.
I mean, I don't want to create a time paradox by leaving them here. What do you think this is? Metal Gear Solid 3?
Come on, let's go.
And releasing all locks.
The canon has to be pretty confusing for this series, right? To some extent. Just as a virtue of the fact that, like... First of all, you can play as two different protagonists in this game. I think some of the events change accordingly. I don't think they are two... I don't think they're two stories that can be entirely played as if they both happened in the same time. Like, they're two different timelines, I think. But also, you make choices that lead to several different characters living or dying, I think. It's like the future games must have to just sort of decide which things are canon. At least when it comes to who lives and dies. Like, I know that Chris and I know that Chris and Barry are in future games. But I also am kind of convinced that I could have just left Chris to die just now, and the game would have done that. Which makes it distinctly a non-canon ending, I guess? Because he's definitely the protagonist of 5, and one of the protagonists of 6. And maybe somebody thinks I'm shouting spoilers right now. I don't really feel like I am, because I'm literally name-dropping the guy that is the protagonist guy on the cover of a game. To some extent, due to its kind of popularity, there might have been more people that have played and known about 5 recently than 1. I saved, right? I didn't just, like, look at the save point. Hello. I don't have space for you. Or that shotgun ammo.
This is Brad. I'm running out of fuel. If there's anyone alive, contact me now or just give me a sign. I repeat, this is your last chance.
Self-destruct system has been activated. All personnel must evacuate immediately.
Excuse me?
Deactivating and releasing all locks.
What the fuck is that? Alright. Elevator isn't working. Better get the power. Oh. Thanks. Thanks. Better leave one inventory slot open or you waste an item. I guess you can't really waste items if you're gonna not get you're gonna lose them anyway. If only you could put an item down for a second. Instead of eating it.
Detonation.
Damn it! We're almost there! Jill, you just get in contact with Brad.
No!
We can make it. Jill, ladies first.
Chris!
Would you let me have my moments too?
All right. We'll rendezvous at the heliport.
The Chris from this game and 7 and 5 do not look like the same person. None of them do. Like, they look like 3 completely different people. But Barry looks like the same exact person in Revelations 2. And Jill looks like the same person in Revelations 1. So I have no idea. I don't know what's going on with Chris. Leon also always looks like the same person. What's wrong with Chris and his face? Ah, I needed a slot open anyway. Because you're an item. Alright. There's a helipad. What do you got? Flare rockets. I can signal Brad with this. Brad? Chris? Barry?
Jill!
You made it!
Did you just finally run out of ammo? At least there's no rain in my party. But yeah, this one went about as expected. That was the one shot I had. Yay. Oh, good dodge. Ow. Oh. Severe ragdoll. Ow. That was some good dodging for a minute there. I felt good about that. Oop, shit. I didn't see him coming that time. Owie. Wow, yeah, I died. I died in 2 hits, basically, right? Get him, Barry. I'll flank him.
Jill, use it! Kill it, whatever it is!
I don't hear a helicopter, frankly. I definitely don't hear a helicopter right now. I don't know where that came from. And we gotta look at it. They made a whole view for me, right? A very destructive weapon that fires rockets with a large blast radius. Oh, there's no animation for it. Well, there we go. Resident Evil. Whoa, is that... No? Yes? Yes. Yeah, what? So it showed a cutscene of Chris being with Jill and Hey! I know who you are. So it's showing cutscenes from Chris's campaign. Which is confusing. Because if you just beat this campaign, you're like, what is happening? Who's this entire character I've never met in the entire Jill campaign? Oh, that makes the canon even more confusing because you're in future games too. And in Jill's campaign, I don't even meet you, which means you presumably died if you never escaped with us because the place blew up. And I'll wait, now they're just showing her other costumes from, wait, that was her. Okay, these cutscenes are just whatever they feel like, basically, huh? Because that was Jill wearing her dress, her tube top dress, which I think is Resident Evil 3. Funny, I haven't played these games, but I just like, oh yeah, that's the costume from that game, and that's the costume from that game. So yeah, like, I mean, it's at least been on the cover. I've been aware of Resident Evil my entire life. Like, constantly you'll just see, oh, another Resident Evil game came out, and you'll see the cover and the character that's in it and so on, and then you get around to watching the movies and stuff, and the movies don't really inform the characters, but there's been a vague context for stuff. But yeah, my first, what was my first Resident Evil? I think my first Resident Evil is I tried playing like an hour of 5, and I wasn't really into it. And the deal breaker eventually for me is I got killed by a chainsaw guy, and restarted a big chunk of the game as a result because I hadn't saved an X amount of time, or a checkpoint had been for a while ago.
You did a fine job.
And so then since I had to start the whole chunk over, I realized, you know what, I'm not enjoying this game that much, so I just stopped. Was basically the response. I don't know, maybe I'll coax somebody into co-oping through it though, since that's supposed to be the way. And I can get through anything in co-op, frankly. Although I can get through anything just now that I'm a Let's Player. Now, I just quit stuff way more back then in general. But then I played all of 6. All 4 campaigns. I know all of it. I know the story. I made a video where I tell the story of 6 in chronological order because that's not immediately apparent based on how the game's laid out. I've done that rabbit hole. Then I played Revelations 1 and 2 and then 7. So despite the fact that I feel like I've been underexposed to and not played Resident Evil games, and it's true, I haven't played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, basically, or the Veronica game, or games? Are Veronica and Veronica X two different games? The multiplayer online one, and so on. But I have played like 5 now, huh? If you do 6, Rev 1, Rev 2, 7, 1. Yeah, this is my fifth finished Resident Evil game. I've played more games in this franchise than most franchises, and yet I feel like I'm a newcomer to the franchise still. The fact that this is my first one of this style does speak to that feeling, and the fact that I've never played 4. We'll get to it one day. I don't think I have a lot more to say about this game. I haven't really done an end of game review just now. I kind of just I skipped over that, but I feel like I've reviewed this game plenty while I was playing it, and I feel like there's not a lot of thoughts to repeat. Just the whole thing where like it's a tightly paced, carefully set up survival horror game where the resources are tense, and I had a lot of tense moments where I had to make rough decisions here and there, and I never felt comfortable, and that's the point. But like most games in its genre, it does hit a tipping point where it kind of stops being like that. And yeah, I compared it to Dark Souls in a little bit in that this isn't like everything game is like Dark Souls. It's just a useful comparison for the specific aspect, is that Dark Souls 1 and this game both have a similar thing where there's a very strong beginning. There's a particular location that is the famous part of the game that everyone remembers about the game, that is a joy to explore and keep revisiting and go around it and uncover all of its secrets and see how it's all interconnected and so on. And then the game progresses past that point, and it doesn't really recapture that as much. It's a sequence of places that are smaller than the Spencer Mansion, and so just by the virtue of being smaller, they can't recapture the scale of what was being accomplished in the Spencer Mansion in the first place. Because just a smaller building that only has 8 rooms total, for example, even if you do have it all interconnected and design it similarly to the Spencer Mansion, it just doesn't do the same things overall because of the lack of scale. And some of the later zones just straight up are kind of linear altogether, and it's just it's a bit of a mixed bag. There's a real quaint agedness to the game, which they probably, I imagine a lot of it's because it's from its original 96 or whatever version, whenever the game came out, original version of the game, and then they kept a lot of it in the new version, I assume. But there's some cheesy dumb shit like the boulder traps and fly monsters and just some really bizarre weirdness that is definitely, it's amusing. There's a particular like enjoyable what do you call it? I don't even know what we'll call this. It's almost like a weird uncanny valleyness thing where the world and people seem so realistic and believable in their appearance and behavior to some extent, and then just completely absurd things are happening, like you gotta use the flamethrower holster to open this door for some reason, or here's the boulder traps, and like just nuts stuff is happening, and there's a statue or puzzle room for no reason. There's a little bit of that in 6, in that you get to the point in 6 where you get to the weird laser statue room in Leon's campaign that kind of harkens back to just the weirdness of the franchise, but I think the franchise largely leaned away from that, and instead of recapturing it in 7, they instead went towards like a comedy grindhouse approach to keep the weirdness around. And I think every Resident Evil game should be weird just forever. I think they should all have just really weird elements to them that don't quite make sense and make you question reality a bit, like bizarre boulder traps or somebody reattaching their own leg by spritzing healing fluid on it, that kind of stuff. Those are good. that's fun, dumb shit that I feel like these games would be worse without that kind of silliness. But yeah, we beat Resident Evil 1. Click. Now play with features from the prototype version. The prototype version. Real Survivor mode unlocked. Item box is no longer connected, meaning the items can only be taken from the box where they were stored. Also, weapon aiming is manual. Experience these prototype-only features unavailable in the original Resident Evil gameplay. You got a closet key, so now you can change your clothes. Via that one room I didn't have the ability to access while we were in there. Part of me kind of feels like it might have been nice if the escape path went through Spencer Mansion in some way. This is really a minor issue. It's just that there's a full circleness that's kind of welcome in some games where if you spend all this time exploring, it would be kind of nice to cycle through and have to like run through Spencer Mansion in some way during the escape. Because once you're in the underground area, you never have to see the rest of the game again, which makes some of the fun of countdown to escape, the self-destruct sequence thing, is often the chance to revisit previous locations or have to run back through them and so on and in the path. But that's just not how the place was laid out ultimately. Well, there we go. See you guys next time.